Hey everybody, welcome to episode 6 of Brews and Booze.
Good to see everybody.
Good to see everybody. I'm a little bit under the weather here, but we wanted to just forge ahead and bring you this episode. So today we're going to talk about different types of meditation, and I'm going to let Lynn do most of the talking because, well, I talked a lot last time, and I don't sound so great, so you probably don't want to listen to me for the whole episode. But I want to introduce the mugs.
Yes.
Mine is stupid as stupid does.
Yes.
But I'm drinking tea today to kind of help my throat. But this I got from the Bubba Gump Shrimp Factory. Bubba Gump Shrimp Factory. I think I got it in Maui. But I'm not 100% positive anymore.
I feel like you've had that a long time though. I don't know. It might. Maybe.
Yeah, I think I got it the first time I went to Hawaii.
Well, I mean that's possible. So.
Yeah. So if I did, it's traveled far and wide at this point, but anyway, that's kind of what was my mood. Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I have this ridiculous little coffee cup that
I think it's a teacup. I think we should have traded.
It may be a teacup, and if I had a little saucer, it would have made it like a fancy
flying
fancy
saucer?
cup. Just
like aliens?
A porcelain saucer.
I wonder why it's called a saucer. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Because it looks like a saucer.
Yeah.
Why is saucer get its name to begin with? That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, it is. That's off topic.
We don't know.
We'll meditate on it. Try to figure it out.
I wonder what kind of answers we come up then.
Who knows?
Silly small cup. I have a backup cup to pour more into in case I run low.
Lynn is a coffee fiend, so the fact that she came in with this little tiny cup,
I had to get it over with.
Was very
I never
amusing.
picked this one, so it's the one.
That means we should Goodwill this cup.
Oh, I have like 3 or 4 of them because I think it came in a set. You know,
don't
like
need sets.
I think it goes with my.
Who are you sharing it with? I mean, who you have a mini-sized coffee with?
I don't know, maybe like mini.
It's like a mini coffee.
It is.
I mean, if you're inviting somebody for coffee, like you want to have a cup of coffee, like sit down and have a chat. Like that's like a spot of tea.
Or I just don't invite people. And
you have 3 cups. You need all 3 cups filled at the same time.
That's right. I'll just put my straw in like a little contraption and be able to sip out of all of them.
Used to be like a beer hat, but now it's coffee. Anyway.
The days of yore. Mm-hmm. Okay, so meditation. I cannot say it now. So many different ways to meditate. Really no wrong way to do it. And I think people really think it has to be a certain way, or they have to do this, or it has to be like this, or this period of time, or whatever. There's really no rules, which should make meditation very simple, very easy for people. But like we said, people tend to overthink it, and they don't need to. And meditation can be different for each person. So what I do to meditate might be different than what Cheryl does to meditate and what somebody else does to meditate. I'm also feeling a little bit under the weather, so I feel like I'm a little bit slow in thinking today. So everybody's going to have you're probably going to have your like more go-to methods of meditating as compared to somebody else. So what would you say would be the most common form of meditation?
I think there's a lot of, before I would say the most common forms, I'd say there's a lot of misconceptions about meditation, kind of like what you were touching on. And I think that most of us probably picture someone sitting cross-legged on a yoga mat in some big, beautiful, serene setting in a perfect posture with their palms up and be able to, there's some magical light coming from your crown chakra that you can somehow see. And there is light from your crown chakra. We don't see it. But yeah, I think that most of us have this idea that that's what meditation looks like. And for most people that I know that meditate regularly, it doesn't look like that at all. So I think we get caught up in that we don't have these tools. I don't know, the yoga mat, the perfect setting, the perfect posture.
The quiet.
And we just can't make
Never have the quiet.
Never, right? So we just can't make it happen. And that's one of the, I think, biggest misconceptions about it too. And then I think we get people who tell us all the time that they don't know how to do it. Like it's just because they can't get the quiet. And often it's they can't get the quiet in their head. And they think they're doing it wrong. And you're not doing it wrong. Like most of us never have complete silence in our head. It is a goal, and it if you practice meditation, you can get there, but it takes practice. It's not in one session that you're going to be able to sit there and say, oh, I reached this pathway of total silence and clear in my head. Probably not. I mean, cool if you can. Some people might be able to do that. I was not one of those people.
I'm still not one of those people.
It takes me, it takes a practice to get there. And some days are different than other days. Like some days I feel like I get into a much deeper state of consciousness than other days. And every day is just different. And it's just ebbing and flowing and allowing it to be what it's going to be. And to know that not every single meditation session's going to be better than the last or competing with the last or same as before. It just is what it is. It's allowing your brain time to just go through the process of thinking and trying to calm itself down is really what it is. So calm and form, back to your question, I think is sitting quietly. I would say that's the most common type of meditation, sitting quietly.
I actually don't even prefer to sit. So I like to lay down when I meditate if it's possible. Because I do like to kind of reach that in between state if I'm able to, and sitting up makes me feel like I'm too present and then I can't just relax. More like the feeling of I'm going to fall over, and well, we don't need that. So,
no, but you can do a walking meditation.
I do that. Too. I meditate. I wouldn't say unusual ways, but that sounds kind of bizarre. I like to do activities that don't always require a whole bunch of focus in terms of the act, like putting a puzzle together. Like I like doing puzzles a lot, and I haven't kind of done one in a while, so that's just something I should put on my list to do. But in just the like looking for edge pieces or whatever it is that part of the puzzle I'm on, gives me a chance to not have to really focus so much on what I'm doing because it's so important or it's so difficult of a task. So I'm able to use that time to meditate, really about just kind of thinking. And this would be more of a thinking meditation in these kind of instances, because I'm not closing my eyes. I'm not really focusing on my breathing. But I'm getting like information, and I'm processing the information, and things that I want to keep around, focus on, stay, and what doesn't, I toss away. And so
it's allowing your thoughts to flow freely. Like a great place to meditate is in the shower. Because you know your routine, you know what you're doing, so you're methodically going through this process of taking a shower. But it's not a coincidence that people say they get great ideas in the shower, because that's where they allow their brain time to just be in contact with the water and feel the warmth and be in connection with yourself. And it's usually, most of us, it's quieter time, unless you're like me, who have children and kids who have no boundaries. But for most people, it should be a relaxing experience.
I laughed at what you just said. You said children and kids. And I think one of them was supposed to be dogs.
It was dogs. Yes.
Dogs are like children. So it's
definitely substituted children for dogs. I pictured the dog. Anyway, but that's a good time, that people meditate. So meditate while you drive, and I don't mean that in like you're closing your eyes and zoning out. Clearly not. But again, if it's a route that you're taking every day, you know the routine, you know what you're doing. So it's, you might be listening to music, or you might just have it quiet in the car, and you find yourself thinking about things that are going on, and maybe some deeper questions of life and things like that. So you can, meditate there too. I think another thing is like the length of time. I mean, my general meditation is probably like 15 minutes. You can start with 5, you can start with 2, you can, whatever you want to do. You can go for an hour. You can go for as long as you want, as short as you want, as long as you want. For me, I find that 5 minutes, I don't really get into like a relaxing state. I'm very focused on like the time of this only being 5 minutes. 15 seems to be good for me to get into like a calmer state of mind, where I lose track of time a smidge, but not where I feel like, oh my gosh, has it been hours and I've not been paying attention. So yeah, I know, but time doesn't. If you're in a nature walk and you're going for a hike, you might be meditating, and you might be doing that all day, but it's very flexible in what you want to do.
Yeah, I think that's the great thing about meditation. that there's really no rules there.
No, there's not.
And that's nice, because I think
And you're not doing it wrong. You're not.
Yeah.
Stop telling yourself you're doing it wrong. And it is important as a form of self-care. We all need that creative space to let our minds relax. And you know answers within you. You know your path. You know what you're supposed to be doing. You know the correct, there's no really right or wrong in the universe, but the correct way to do things. But it's in those quiet spaces that you find it. It's in the quiet space that it becomes the reality, and that you understand, and that you can walk away from it saying, I'm a much clearer picture now. So the fact that you're supposed to be void of thought is not possible, so much in that you actually get clarity on other things. So it's not so much the thought process that it focusing on the thought process, like Lynn said. It's more of letting go of the thought process and just allowing it. Just whatever happens, whatever comes up. And I like to equate it to watching traffic. You can sit on a park bench and watch traffic go by, and you don't give any credence really to the cars that are going by, or the trucks. You might have like a random thought here or there, but nothing, you're not attached to it. You know, it comes, it goes.
Not judging the traffic.
Yeah,
it's
or
just,
the cars.
it is what it is. It's just,
you might like one kind of car better than another kind of car. You might notice one goes faster or slower.
You might see someone.
Stupid is as stupid does, right? but you're just watching the traffic. And that's what you do when you meditate with your thoughts. Your thoughts are the traffic. You just watch it. You just sit back on the park bench. You watch the thoughts go by. And you don't care if one looks better than another, or one drives faster than the other one, or one seems more emotional than the other. You just allow it. You just, there's another thought. Let it go by. Let it drive through the traffic light. Just keep letting them pass by. You don't have to pause and stop and contemplate and ponder. Just let it go. And you may have thoughts that you don't even know if they're your own thoughts, and that's fine. Or memories pop up that you're like, why am I thinking about this? Who cares? Just let it come and go. And maybe it's meant to be released at that point, and you've been holding it inside. And it doesn't have to be some traumatic, huge memory of why you're holding it inside. But for whatever reason, it's time for it to surface and release, and just move through it. Just let it go.
Yeah.
It's the time to really let go.
It is. It is. And there's many more ways that you can do this other than the ones that we've already mentioned. And there's ones that you're doing meditation on your own, and you're grounding yourself prior to the meditation, or you're walking yourself through the beach or the meadow, or whatever it is that you've put yourself in the meditation.
Oh, like a guided meditation, yeah.
Or there's guided meditation, where you're listening to someone else basically tell you the story. Basically,
I love guided meditation.
That is my favorite, and for me, honestly, that's the easiest, because I do get sidetracked with doing other things when I'm meditating. And even though the thoughts are supposed to kind of come and go, I really kind of spiral them into different things. They don't need to be. Like, that's not what this time that I want it to be for. And if that's what you want it to be for, that's fine, because that's okay. But for me, I want to not really be thinking of my shopping list and all the things I need to pick up, because that's not really the thoughts coming and going. That's me literally forming lists, and I don't need to do that during this time. It's really hard to turn that off. So with guided meditation and listening to someone tell the story and imagining in whatever way you can imagine, following along, whether it's walking, like we said, through a meadow, or riding a horse up the countryside, or whatever it is that makes you feel safe, happy, protected, whatever the things are, that's what you want to.
Guided meditation reminds me so much of being a child and having someone read me a story. Like, when you're little and you're listening to the story, you're picturing it as you picture it. What does that look like? And it can be, the guided meditation can be as silly as a story, or as believable as everyday life. I mean, like, we're reading a story with my son, and there's trees of broccoli. So in his little head, he's picturing trees of broccoli, or I am anyway. And so guided meditation is like that, where it can be silly, and you could see things that are not of our reality, or create them, or pictures of them, or images. We don't always have to be so grounded in what we see every day, but it can be that as well. The cool thing about guided meditation is that if you're doing it and it's customized like we do here, We do these virtually and in person. We do them in group settings, but we customize them based on what you're looking to learn. Like, what is your intention? What are you trying to gain from this time, if anything? And we embed opportunities for messages, for you to find the messages. We're not here to tell you the messages. We're here to create the opportunity for the messages to come through. So you may find a bottle on the beach and it has a piece of paper inside and there's a message. What does the message say? You might be flipping through a photo album and see a picture that reminds you of the time you were the most happiest in your life, and we'll ask during the meditation, what's in the picture? I don't know what's in the picture. It's your picture. So, but your brain, your subconscious will conjure an image.
Yeah, it's really pretty neat because in that moment, I think that's really one of the reasons I also really enjoy guided meditation as opposed to meditating on my own, because I don't know what's coming next. Mm-hmm. When I'm making my own meditation, I've already probably thought 3, 4, 5 scenes ahead, and it's no surprise when I find the bottle on the beach. I've already made the message. I've already gotten the message, but now I'm trying to reword the message, find a new message. I don't like that message. But in a guided meditation, if that's what came next, that's what came next, and I get what I feel to be the appropriate message, not me trying to use my ego to move it around and change it, and
it's really cool.
Make it something.
I've done various formats of this where I've had people picture planes writing messages in skies, or the clouds forming an image, or you picking up a stick in the sand, in the dirt, and writing it in the sand, or I had one person walk through a tunnel, like a train tunnel, and the messages were written in graffiti on the wall.
That's cool.
Because it fits their personality. It's all about what works for you. It's also a great method of release, guided meditation, because we can also use it as a way to let go of things. If you feel like there's messages or things that you need to release, we can work on you identifying them, and maybe we have you write those things on little scraps of paper, and then metaphorically through the story release them into the wind, or burn them in a fire pit or something like that. So there's so many endless ways guided meditation works. It's a super cool practice. You can get apps with guided meditations too. Of course, they're not customized, which is fine, but you can find powerful messages the same way through those practices. So it's definitely worth exploring if you have a hard time getting yourself to sit still, if you feel like you're too focused on the time, or you just would rather focus on someone else's voice. It's a very not easy, but different, I feel like, enjoyable way to start meditating, or to just meditate in general.
And I think too, with one of the components of meditation is controlling your breathing. And when when I start meditating, kind of start to focus on just breathe, feeling myself breathe, and feeling like I'm getting a full breath and not short breathing, or
like me right now, where I'm
where we can't get a full breath in, and surprised I haven't coughed yet or anything.
Me too. I coughed a little, I guess. But,
so if you're able to breathe, but just kind of bringing your body down, bringing your mind, slowing everything down a little bit with your breath. It's a really great way to start the meditation, if you're able to do that. You probably won't drown after that.
Focus too much on the coughing. Yeah, and then
I know. Well, you jinxed it.
I did.
Gotta take a
draw
sip.
attention.
Take a sip. Quiet that down.
Mm-hmm.
Work on your breathing.
Yeah, and with the breathing, you can do, again, endless possibilities. You can practice on breathing counts of 2 in, count 2 breaths in, 2, and then 2 out, 3 in and 3 out, 4 in and 4 out, and see how far you can go. And then it's a practice. So next time you might be able to get to 5. Maybe you can only get to 2. Maybe you go 2 in and 1 big breath out. But there are all ways to kind of channel your thoughts and your focus into not worrying about the everyday. This is supposed to be a little bit of a break from the everyday, and it puts you in touch with your body and your emotions and your sensations that we just plow through and don't pay attention to. So, and that brings up a point of last week we had our intention practice, or I'm sorry, our intuition practice group. And that's a really fun group. So if you've taken Develop Your Intuition with us, or you kind of work in this field, and it, again, just like meditation, using your intuition as a practice, it's not always just ta-da, present it to you. You have to use it and figure out ways that it works for you. So if you've taken the group, we then try to hone our skills. We meet monthly online, and we do different activities to practice our skills and figuring out what our intuition is telling us. So last time we did a body scan, and that was really cool.
That was very cool.
Yeah, we went body part by body part.
I've actually, to kind of almost interrupt your story slightly,
No,
we do also intro to meditation series.
Yep.
Sometimes it's a series, sometimes it's like a longer one time or one day workshop or whatever. But part of that is doing a body scan just for a little bit to kind of just get in touch with your body and knowing what your body feels like when you start to ground, or you are breathing softly or deeply, or whatever it is that we're asking you to do at that point.
Yeah, getting in touch with those sensations in your body that you're ignoring. Like during a body scan, you may actually notice that oh, I think I have an ingrown toenail in my big toe, and it's probably been bothering me for a while, but now I don't pay attention to it. I just keep on moving forward, or oh, that I feel like my right shoulder and my left shoulder are not even. Wonder how long that's been going on. So, or my stomach's really gurgling. I mean, I'm kind of thirsty. Like things that you're not paying attention to because we're too busy. We're too busy to notice.
And the difference between those activities and those two different kinds of groups is in the meditation, you're just really acknowledging it. You're noticing. You're like both of my, my hips don't sit, or if you're laying down, don't hit the floor the same way. I'm tilted to one side. And it is what it is. In the intention group, it's using those body sensations, that body scan.
Group.
The intuition group. What did I call it?
Intention group.
I don't know.
We have an intention group as well.
We have a lot.
Too many I groups.
I know. What's happening? Yeah. I'm sorry.
The intention group is different. That's a whole nother podcast. When we restart we're in the middle of our intention group now. But when we restart that, maybe we'll do a podcast on that.
Okay. So the intuition group. When you're doing a body scan intuition group, the sensations or the feelings or whatever it is that you're noticing in your body might be a sign of something else. That might be I discovered during that group about, let's see, what was the first one I picked or discovered? I didn't really say I picked it. I'm trying to remember because that was a whole bunch of days ago.
Were you we did the affirming
scan.
Whether your intuition was working or not?
Oh, I know what it was. I was getting in a very specific spot on my back a tingling anytime that we were talking about using your intuition, and just knowing, answering questions and knowing what was right, what was wrong. That was the activity that we were doing. The statement was either correct or incorrect.
Yeah, it was a yes or a no. Yeah.
Yeah, I should say it better that way.
Yeah.
So when the information was yes, correct, I felt it in one area. When it was no, I felt it in another area. So it was interesting to know that when you use it for different ways, you're... Mm-hmm. But so that's how the activities really end up being a little bit different. But
yeah, and I would say automatic writing is another great form of meditation. Journaling in general is a wonderful way to meditate if you like to write and get your thoughts out. I do. It's a very active activity, obviously, but I find it the best way to feel a true meditation for myself. I can't say that in my mind it's always my go-to, and yet it's not what I do the most. But an automatic writing is even different than just journaling your own thoughts. An automatic writing is where you get in touch with guides or angels or spirits from the other side, and you just ask for a message and you journal what you hear. And that in and of itself is a meditation because you're connecting to source and getting the answers to the questions you want. So that's a very cool. We've had some workshops on automatic writing as well, and those are really fun. And then oracle cards, I feel like that's a good source of meditation. Yeah.
There's so many ways.
Yeah, because like with oracle cards, you're also asking questions.
They're all over here on our like wall.
Yes,
we have a lot of them.
We'll do a podcast on oracle cards too. But with oracle cards, you know, they're not tarot cards. They're messages. They're guided messages, and you sit with the intention of the message that you want to learn about, and then you ask the cards and you pull the cards and then you interpret and understand the cards, and through that, you know, you're putting yourself into like a deeper thought of contemplation and meditation. Yeah. So I mean, there's just, I encourage you to start a meditation practice. Everyone does, right? And I tease about this in some of the groups because it's like it's just 15 minutes along with everything else you need to do in your life. But find a way to couple it in with something else that you're doing. If you are driving and you can, you know, pull over and take 5 extra minutes and sit down and sit in front of a pretty spot and just meditate for a few minutes, do it. If you need to, you know, stand in the shower for a couple extra minutes to remember to meditate, then you could do that too.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's easier to also, when you first wake up in the morning, if you give yourself, you know, a couple of extra minutes to be able to just lay there, and not always, of course, is it going to be quiet, or, you know, you might have to get up quicker than you thought or whatever, but if you have those couple extra minutes just to lay there and even ask, you know, like the question of like, what do I need to know for today, and meditate on that thought and see if there's any clarity that comes through.
A couple years ago, I took the time. I really wanted to make the investment in learning transcendental meditation, and I'm so glad I did. And it is a practice in and of itself, different type of meditation, but it is about learning how to go deep down into a meditation in order to ascend yourself up. So that is also a type of practice that you can learn about settling down deep into yourself. And through that, you end up raising your vibration and then bringing, you know, ascending yourself and understanding what a collective consciousness is. And that's pretty powerful stuff. It's really amazing. So if you have interest in meditation, you could definitely check out resources related to things like that. Or join a meditation class. Like we definitely have them here. We have them in person. Well, last week we did a really fun class where we did Reiki with a group. And I mean, the people in the class are basically meditating while we're sending Reiki. So what we do, so join a Reiki, or not a Reiki class, sorry. Well, you can do that too, but join a meditation class if you feel like you need help, or an intro to meditation class. It's a great
way just to kind of get the reassurance to follow something if you're really kind of just really feeling lost, and I can't even you know, I sit down and I'm quiet and grounding I have nothing.
Is so essential. It's so essential, and we feel floaty. We're off in the clouds. We let things spin, and that time to ground yourself to the earth and just slow it all down and breathe is one of the most beneficial things that you can do. And in the transcendental classes, they explain to you in the beginning, and perhaps marketing for sure, but they explain to you that the most successful people meditate. They do. They find time to put this in their life and in their schedule, because that is what they attribute to their success, is that ability and time to stop in their busy lives and just take 10 minutes and just 15 minutes and just do their meditation, recharge their battery, and then, you know, get clarity, get great ideas, rejuvenate, move forward. So it's such an amazing practice. I truly do understand the busyness, the craziness, the hecticness of life. And I fully admit too, it doesn't always happen for me. Like I want every day, I want to do it every day, and I should do it every day, right? Like this, not even a should in a bad way. Like I kind of crave to do it because I like to meditate, and I don't always get there. But it's a practice nonetheless. And if you're not it's a use it, lose it skill. Not lose it really, but it's a use it
the more
skill.
you use it, the easier it ends up being, and you feel you can kind of reach that place of calm, the place of clarity, of quiet in your mind a little bit easier.
It does get easier.
Doesn't, like, you know, in the beginning it might be like, you know, like a train wreck, you know, like it's loud and it's messy and it's whatever. But
and another thing people tell me all the time, they think they're doing it wrong because they fall asleep. If you fall asleep, it's because your body is craving sleep. Like you need rest. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
plain and simple, you need
Yeah.
rest.
And you have subconscious, and it's all happening anyway. And you might end up waking up with that clarity or with that idea. And it may not come to you right away, but you might be, 2 hours removed from falling asleep during your meditation and being like, oh, this.
Yeah. Yeah, so don't think you're doing it wrong or beat yourself up if you, I just fell asleep. You didn't just fall asleep. Yeah, Glenn said your subconscious took it in, but you need a rest. So,
Yeah.
and that's fine. To listen to your body, right? Do that body scan. It's telling you, you need it rest. So I hope that you guys consider where you can fit meditation in your life, that how important it is. It's great for your health, puts you totally in touch with your body. It's great for your mind. It's great for your spiritual journey and ascension. It's just, I think we're wired to be doing that, and our world just puts us not there.
Yeah. Take those couple minutes to really to slow things down. Do it for yourself.
Absolutely.
You'll feel better.
Yep. Yeah. Maybe I just need to meditate this cold right out of me.
That's right. Maybe I'll Reiki you while you meditate. We'll do that.
I would do that all day long. So. All right. Well, until next time, friends, we hope that you find some time for yourself and enjoy your own self-care practices. Cheers.